There it is. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Bluegrass Dreams and Seams. My name is Cheryl, and my light is on. Means my mic is working. I've been plugging it in a different place now, where it stays plugged up. It gets a great, good charge on it, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so as long as you see that light running, I should be able to be heard. Okay, today, what am I wearing? This is a blouse made out of linen and using some Swiss embroidery lace that I made maybe a year ago. Wore it a lot last spring, and then I just kind of went on a hiatus and didn't wear it. I always thought it'd be too hot to wear this in the summer, but actually today I wore this to church and I was surprised that I stayed comfortable. Linen does breathe really, really well. So this initially, the blouse, the way it's designed is to have a button down, I think the left side. It's buttoned down the left side. I decided to make this a full yoke and cut the back yoke to where it would have a hook and eye at the top, and was able to do all this nice work. This would be really pretty to just do like machine embroidery also on it and have the front yoke untouched with any interruptions. So that would also be a lovely, and do the cuffs as well in machine embroidery. That would be really, really pretty. So this week, what's this video going to be about? Well, I entered 7 things into the fair, so we'll talk about that. I worked on this top, and then I made my grandson some socks. I also did some knitting on a gray sweater that's made out of Plutalopa yarn, and the designer is Melody Hoffmann. She's in France, and she has 2 channels, a knitting channel, which I'll link below, and also a new garden channel, which is good. She started this a couple months ago, and um, I'll link that one as well. Now, the gray sweater, I'm almost finished with it. What will happen when I finish and getting everything done, I've got the embroidery work yet to do, and I have to finish the cuff. I will soak it probably overnight in water that's been treated with a fabric softener. That will help calm down some of those fibers, and the rustic feel of that yarn will soften a little bit. This is a light, airy sweater because the Plutalopa yarn is an unspun yarn. So it makes it very airy, very, very light. I can wear it in 50-degree weather and be very comfortable, even with a shirt underneath. So let's talk about what I entered into the fair. I entered 7 items. Some are 1 cross stitch, a couple of knitted items, and a couple of sewn items. So here we go. One of the knitted items I made was another sweater by Melody Hoffmann, and I can't remember the name of it, but I knitted it using an alpaca yarn that I had, but I had to blend it with something because it wasn't the right weight. So at the time, Tuscan Rose was still open. I went down there and talked to Patty, and she recommended using a merino wool, and she had some of her dyed yarn, and the two together were just gorgeous. Well, I mean, after I knitted it, I just couldn't believe it. It's so pretty. So, and she was right, the merino did calm down the alpaca fibers because alpaca is very warm, but also the fibers just float everywhere. And it just becomes such a nuisance. You almost don't want to knit with it, but it is a lovely yarn, and it is very toasty. So it will be a warm sweater. I usually wear it when it reaches freezing. That's when I start to wear that sweater. I don't have to wear a jacket. I can just wear the sweater and I'm fine. Because that alpaca fiber really does keep you warm. So I entered that sweater. Then I entered my double-sided apron that one side is lobster print and the other side is blueberries. I bought this in Maine, and what's more fitting than lobster and blueberries for Maine? Yes, you know. Then I entered my white denim jacket, which was actually a purchased jacket that I had altered. I took the cuffs off, the collar off, the band off, and I'm just letting that kind of fray over time. And then I decided to add some reverse applique and some quilting cottons that were like pinks, yellows, purples. I did a little half flower on the front, and I did the half sun rays and um, half circle for the sun on the back. And I've thought about adding something where the buttons came off of the pockets because I removed the pocket flaps, and I haven't decided what that's going to be yet. So probably will do so. I took the buttons off the front as well. So I'll probably add something eventually whenever it finally hits me. Yes, that's it. That's when I'll do it. Okay, so the tea jacket is next. My tea jacket was that green wool jacket I made, and I added wool applique and the kind of lavender color purple uh, piping to the front and down the bottom edges. I added that because I could not stand that raw edge. Just couldn't do it. And so I made the piping, sewed that on, and I started adding the wool applique. I just cut out leaves, and I took some yarn and I wet it and made little balls for berries to go on there. So that worked out really well. The one cross stitch piece that I made is actually from a designer from Canada, and she was remembering a trip with her family. They used to go to this cabin and this lake and the boat, and I just loved it. It reminded me of Maine, and so it is also happens to be located on the eastern coastline of Canada. So I thought, hey, I think I'll just cross stitch that up. So mine is about like this and this wide, and it's framed and matted. It's just lovely. So I entered that, and then my husband's last pair of socks, since he hadn't worn them yet, I went ahead and entered those because I just love the yarn. Thought it knitted up really well. They might not have gotten anything, but I entered them. Then a Kanta scarf jacket that I made by a Diane Erickson pattern called Fault Lines, and I made it using a scarf. This is a Kanta scarf. Now I bought this at Tuscan Rose, and one side looks like this, and the other side looks like this. This is the second one that I bought, and I think they ran around $50. But it certainly is. It's about probably 44 wide, and I would say there's probably 6 feet. Yeah, maybe 7. So a little over 2 yards of fabric, and you can definitely get a short jacket, a nice top, any of that kind of thing out of this fabric. And so that's what I decided to make. So I took an object and made it into something different. They had a category for that, so I entered that jacket there. Entering things into the fair can kind of be fun because you see people that oh wow, they're such a great knitter, or they're a wonderful seamstress. Oh, I know they cross stitch really beautifully. All those things you think, and you kind of like, oh, I'm up against some stiff competition here. But I kind of like that. It's all judged blindly. So those who are taking in entries are not there to judge. They have to leave. The judges come in. They have no idea who's done what. And so it's totally a blind judge of everything from food to plants to anything you've made. All right, so the knitted thing that I made for my grandson, he had asked when I was making my son's socks, he said, this is Damien, he said, could you make me a pair of socks out of Grandpa's yarn? And I said, sure, why not? I have enough left over, hopefully. I did run out of the ball on this sock. I ran out about right here where this blue line starts, and the rest of that is from what I cut off because I had to find the starting point for his second sock so they would all look the same on both pair. So the second sock was fine until I got, you can see, it starts to change right here. They're different. And it's okay. I knew I wasn't going to have the toes exactly alike, but here's how I look at it. that's inside the shoe. Who's going to know? They might see the leg, but they're not going to see the toe unless they take their shoes off and run around in their sock feet, and then you would. So I just don't worry about it. He'll love them, and that's all that counts. Now I do have to make his brother a pair of socks. All right, so then I made this top. This is my lawn top. I bought this fabric in Cincinnati at the Silk Road Textile store that I love there so much. They're such a great find, and I love going up there. They're just wonderful. They have a little small section of clothing fabric, and then they have their quilting section. They have yarn, and they have like little kits and things. So I love going up there. It's a nice place. This has not been repressed, but I did wash it the other day. I wore it. It has that little bit of a moth print. You can't really see it. And maybe if I get it closer, you might. Oh, you can't tell. There's a little moth. The little gold thing is a moth, and then you've got your botanical bits, which you can tell is directional. So I had to be careful how I cut this out. This lawn is about 54 inches wide. So that enabled me to like fold over to a certain point and get my center back piece, lower back piece, my center lower back piece on the fold. I was able to fold over on the other side and get my center line from my front piece because it had to be cut on the fold. And then the yoke here had to also be cut on the fold, so I was able to get that piece on the fold. The rest of this was all cut double layer. So the side pieces down here, there's two side backs, so that's cut, and these little flutter sleeves are cut. So 3 pieces on the fold, and 2 pieces had to be cut just double layer. So 5 pieces in all. I did finish this with a wide bias tape, and it lays down pretty good especially when I press it. This has not been pressed since I washed it, okay? So it might look different. Well, what I did with this one, the first one, kind of cowls here in the front. It's a very flowy, silky fabric. It was something I bought from marcytilton.com, and I loved it. It was a fun print. And I thought, oh, I'm going to make that. And I'm going to make it out of this blouse. And it's a simplicity pattern. Oh, I'm going to do this. Well, I guessed my size wrong for up here. And I've learned size this down from everything else. So this is cut by a large. This is cut by a large. And everything else I cut by an extra large. But to be honest, I could have gone down to a large, even on the body. So it is a little bit fuller than what I would like it. But at least this is not bothering me. On my first make, I'm constantly doing this, pulling this shoulder up because my bra starts showing, and it drives me crazy. But I still wear it because it's a fun print, and I love to wear fun prints. So I thought, go ahead and wear it and just deal with it. So I do wear it, but this, I would make another one out of lawn again. I know Hancock Fabrics of Paducah is carrying lawn, and I tell you, for 1.5 yards, at $40 a yard, I would have $60 tied up in it. I'm still thinking about it. Do you do that or not? He's never going to run that on sale, but it's part of his William Morris collection, and it is beautiful. There's so many pretty lawns. Yes, I would make another one out of lawn. Highly recommend lawn for this pattern. Now, what else? What's going to be happening next week? Well, we did empty out 6 of the cubes that I'm putting into my cutting table, and we have them out in the garage. We've been playing around with length. We have decided I need to leave at least a 2 to 3 inch wide gap between, like do 2, have a gap, do the other 4. And that's going to add a little length to my cutting table. So now we're getting maybe 5 feet, 4.5 to 5 feet long, but the width is going to stay around 27 to 30 inches. Hopefully Monday we will go buy some of the pieces we need for the base and get this started where I can start putting that video together for you. And I'll show you whatever we get done next week. I will show you how far we get and what it's starting to look like so that you can see how this is all going to work. Another thing I did this week is I went fabric shopping because I needed to get me some shirt fabric to go with my gray Plutalope shirt. So I went to Calico Country because I already knew what Hancock's kind of had, and I was talking to a friend of mine that works there, and I said, I really would like to have some kind of fabric to go with this gray sweater. And we walked around with the sweater and came up with this beautiful batik print. When she put the sweater with that, I said, that's it. That is so it. And so I bought 3 yards. Now, this is not going to be a cheap shirt at all. Batiks are expensive. The price of fabrics, even cottons, have gone up. So this ran me $45. I mean, really, $45. So that's expensive. I do think I have buttons though. Now I do have my patterns picked out. I'm going to reuse a Butterick pattern 6747 for the body parts of the shirt and the neck collar. I just want to do like a neckband. Then the sleeve is coming from this Marcy Tilton pattern, Vogue 1784. I didn't want a sleeve with a cuff. This sleeve has it comes a little pleat and you can put a button there if you want to. You don't have to. My second shirt, because I want to have 2 shirts, is going to come from this, and this is from my stash. This I purchased probably 3 to 4 years ago from a quilt store in Trenton, Kentucky. She has batik rayons, and so I love it. And when I put it against I kind of put the sweater over it. It's a good second shirt to make. So don't have a pattern picked out for this one yet. Probably similar in that, but I don't know if I want to do button bands. I might just try to do a pullover. We'll see what I come up with and go from there. So that is what's coming up for next week's video. And I hope you'll join me. I want to thank you for all my new subscribers. Now my goal is to try to reach 500 subscribers. I'm like 52, 3 off from getting there. So it'd be nice if I could obtain that in the next month or 2. Please share, if you can, the channel with some friends, and just tell them please like and subscribe. It'd really help me out to reach the 500. I'd really appreciate it. I will see you next week with yet another video, and I hope that you found something in this that's inspiring. And if you haven't made a top and lawn, make yourself a top and lawn. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's a wonderful fabric, and I love mine. Bye for now.